what insult is this for the DA? They're always coming out with an excuse. And then when obviously they did not want to accept the PA, all the other parties, Action SA, Freedom Front Plus, IFPA, ACDP and UIM, including the PA, they then said, let then Action SA, Funzin Ngubeni be the mayoral candidate. In that way, we'll have the numbers. DA said no.
I'm Linda van Tilburg for Biz News, and with me I have, of course, very well-known Herman Mashaba, President of Action SA. Thanks for joining us, Mr. Mashaba.
Yes, good morning. Thank you so much for inviting me to really have a discussion on a day that the future of our country has got to be decided, because Johannesburg, as you are aware, as the biggest metro in the country, it's the economic hub of our country. It's a day for political parties to really make a decision whether South Africa is going to succeed or not.
Well, I've just looked at a tweet you had an hour ago where you said that everybody, most opposition parties, part of the Moonshot Pact, if you can call it that, were agreeing that they want your candidate of Action SA to be the mayor, but the DA decided not to take part. Why? What happened?
Well, I think it's only the DA that can answer this, but unfortunately, look at their responses, always telling lies. I just don't understand how human beings can openly lie, because I think for us as Action SA, we've made it abundantly clear, including actually making an offer to the DA to take the mayorship. But for them to take the mayorship, we needed to have the PA on board, because without the PA, we don't have the numbers. To be the mayor of the city of Johannesburg, it's not something that you do it on emotions. You do it on the basis of having numbers. So the DA, for some reason, did not want to really have PA, including yesterday, honestly coming out with a very, very ridiculous offer to the PA, when the PA was even prepared to back a DA mayor. DA all of a sudden said to the PA, we are happy to come in with us, but we want you tomorrow morning, before we go to council, make a public announcement that you withdraw your support of the ANC in all the municipalities throughout the country. My goodness, I mean, how on earth is that? Just to give you an example, Linda, DA, as we speak, they govern Nelson Mandela Bay with parties that are right now voting with the ANC, that are in the ANC bloc. You know, what insult is this for the ANC, for the DA? They're always coming out with an excuse. And then when obviously they did not want to accept the PA, all the other parties, Action SA, Freedom Front Plus, IFPA, ACDP and UIM, including the PA, they then said, let then Action SA, Funzin Ngubeni be the mayoral candidate. In that way, we'll have the numbers. DA said no. They'd rather have ANC and EFF. So unfortunately, that is what it is. Even this morning, just 5 minutes ago, I was listening to Solim Simanga. They are fielding their own candidate with only 71 councillors when they need 130 to be lucky, because they say there's a resignation of an ANC councillor. Instead of 136, they need 135. So there are only 71. They are saying no, they are going out on their own. So they say no, not interested. So, but what is actually quite sad and really hurtful, painful, is the fact that John Steenhuisen just made a public pronouncement about forming Moonshot Pact, getting like-minded political parties to join the DA for the removal of ANC and EFF in 2024. And here, an opportunity given by God to remove them now in the city of Johannesburg. DA is not interested. So I don't know, to Linda, what to say about this. We are shocked. I'm devastated. It is not just us. It's everyone. Would have loved to get the ANC, EFF out of the city of Johannesburg. That for some reason, it looks like DA went to the plan that they had back in 2019. Remember, I left as a mayor 2 years ahead of the expiry of my mayorship, because Helen Zille and the ANC had plans to remove me as the mayor. So it looks like they must have done some kind of deal. Helen must have done some deal with the ANC that she still needs to honor. What deal? Only Helen can explain this.
Can I just backtrack a little bit? So the sticking point for the DA is they were prepared, you were all prepared to back the DA candidate as mayor, but then they wanted the Patrick Alliance to not support other parties in other mayors, in other councils in the country. So was that the sticking point for them?
That is, and that one was brought yesterday, when PA was even prepared to back them. Then they came out with now a new condition. Initially, remember, PAs always said we will not come back with a DA mayor. But yesterday, because of not understanding that coalition it's about give and take, it's about sacrifices and compromises. Then all of a sudden, PA says, "Okay, great, we have," and all of us we said, "PA, we'd be happy to support DA." Then DA then comes out with now a new condition. Says, and they says PA must make a public pronouncement before the council meeting of this morning. I mean, it's an insult. It's one of the deepest insults you can impose on another party. It was as if the PA is doing us a favor. I mean, we are doing PA a favor. That is what the approach of the DA. In the meantime, for us to remove ANC and EFF, we need the PA more than they need us. PA, I'm sure today they'll go with the ANC. So I think I don't know what is it that DA has made a commitment to deliver something to the ANC. But why then lie to society? That is something that I find difficult to understand.
So, what are we saying to people in Johannesburg who see the potholes, who see service delivery being so bad? The message out there is that, the opposition party can't get their act together to change the situation.
Linda, it's not just Johannesburg, it's the entire South Africa. Let me tell you something. It involves the Western Cape as well, because rest assured, DA is not going to have majority come 2024 in the Western Cape. So South Africa has entered an era of coalition. So if DA is going to operate coalitions like this, then unfortunately it looks like South African voters have to really decide to vote for political parties that are prepared to really work with others to remove the ANC and EFF out of power.
Yeah, but ironically, the ANC has decided to drop its coalition policy, and it is prepared now to work with the EFF in Johannesburg. So, they can work together, which doesn't seem to be the case on the other side of the table.
Well, no, the ANC and EFF are working together. I was listening earlier on to Premier Sufi, who's the ANC Gauteng provincial chairperson. They've decided to vote for the mayor from Al Jamaa, from one of the smaller parties, because obviously there's disagreement between the ANC and EFF in terms of having either of them as a mayor. So that's why they're settling for smaller parties to be the mayoral candidates. But at least from their side, there's compromise. Whereas in our case, we have a very arrogant, absolute arrogant political party that it's their highway or no highway. So which unfortunately compromises the country. But one thing I can tell you, if they are an impression that will have the Western Cape in 2024, they're fooling themselves. In 2024, they're going to go into a coalition. And if that's how they're going to be treating their coalition partners, unfortunately, they put the future of our country under ANC government, under ANC and EFF. I think and I believe strongly that Helen must have given a promise to the ANC to deliver something to them. That's why they connived against me when I was there. The executive mayor in the city of Johannesburg having secret meetings to remove me as the mayor.
So, Mr. Mashaba, I know you can't read into the future, but what do you think is the motivation for all this? I heard you often said Helen Zille might be behind this, but do you think they are secretly harboring some agreement with the ANC?
Well, tell me, did you see the interview that Helen did in December with the SABC, where she actually confirmed? Remember when I announced in 2019 my resignation and reasons for it, that there were secret meetings facilitated by the IRR with the ANC, with the DA, and without federal council's knowledge. The negotiations were led by Helen Zille. To remove me with the ANC. And did you see that interview she did in December? She was asked. Now it was 3 years later. She'd forgotten. You see, when you tell lies, somewhere along the line you slip up. SABC, she had a half an hour interview. In this interview, SABC asked Helen Zille to say, Helen, don't you think as SDA you are having a crisis? Why are you guys losing the black leaders? And obviously, Helen, in a style, gave reasons why Musi left, why others left. And when it came to Herman Mashaba, he says Herman Mashaba was going to be voted out by the ANC, supported by a majority of DA councillors because he was an EFF mayor. And Linda, my sin for Helen to call me the EFF mayor is because I was not prepared to accept instructions not to provide the services to poor communities. So my sin for being called an EFF mayor is because I wanted and I was determined as a mayor to provide services to all communities. And obviously Helen took serious exception to this and decided to call me an EFF mayor.
Just the last question, because I know you've got to go. Couldn't the parties perhaps say because they want the ANC out, they're serious about getting rid of the ANC, couldn't you have all gone and said, okay, well, let's in this case support the DA's choice for mayor?
Linda, I don't know if you understand how council works. The council doesn't work on emotions. It works on numbers. So all of us, were prepared to support the DA. But the only way we can get 135 voters, councillors, we needed the support of the PA, which DA is refusing. So all of us, if we can give them their support, we only have 130. And 130 cannot give you the mayor. So this is not an emotional matter. It's a practical legislative framework, a constitution, and all the laws governing municipalities. So it's not an emotional matter. It's a numbers game. So without the PA, you can get all of us together. Maximum we can get, if we get full attendance, it's 130 councillors. And we need 135 councillors. So without the PA, which the DA is refusing to accommodate, we are all our numbers. We're just really wasting our time. We're playing a dangerous, irresponsible, emotional game, not only to ourselves, to the voters, because we are lying to the voters out there that you want to remove the ANC. Because the only way you can remove ANC and EFF, that means you've got to get the PA. If you refuse to accept the PA, please then don't lie to society that you are serious about the removal of ANC.
Sorry, you actually meant the PAC, and the PA is part of your group, but you're right. There were other conditions set
which are
for them.
Which are unreasonable. Now you can imagine if, let's say, PA had said to them, okay, DA, let's do this. Tomorrow morning, before we resign from coalition with the ANC in other municipalities, please remove IEC and other UDM, because these are the same parties that are working with the ANC in Johannesburg. Then you give away the Nelson Mandela Bay. How would the DA would have responded to this? Because the DA, it looks like they have the moral ground that they can work with all the other parties, but they also believe they have a moral ground to decide for other parties who to work with.
Herman Mashaba, thank you so much for speaking to us.